y'all, how are you? It's Burgess Taylor, or Journey with Burgess, and today we're going to be talking about my thoughts on how 1 of July has gone so far. We have one week left. We're in the last week, and I am loving the B6 Hobonichi cousin. I cut down my Hobonichi AVEC from July to December. Yes, I had gotten it specifically to have it cut down. I took it to Staples. There's the link to the video where I showed it. One of the things that I noticed right away after I had it cut down was how perfect the daily pages were without the quotes. So, I am thrilled. One of the things that I've been thinking about since switching to the B6 is, what do I really need? Because my system is working so much better. Maybe it's because I'm happier. B6 is usually, it's my jam size. I like A5 for planning long-term things out, projects, work stuff, coffee chats, things like that. This is an impromptu coffee chat. That's okay. We're gonna wing it. So I've been thinking though, I have the B6 and I have a notebook in the back, which means I don't technically need a bullet journal because I can do collections in the back of it. I also have a little idea notebook in the back, which is personal stuff. So like if I have a password that changes or I have something and I write it down, I have that covered with post-it notes, because I can never remember. My Apple ID is different than my login Apple ID thingy. I need to know that Apple ID, but I don't use that a whole lot. So when I do use it, I'm like, wait a minute, what is it? So I also need it for specific things that happen on a regular basis, but not all the time. Like they're semi-regular, I guess I should say. This functions as the whole planner, all, like everything, all in one. The only thing that's really not in here is work, and I could put work in, but normally I like an A5 for planning things out, projects for Patreon and YouTube, coffee chats, different things like that. So one of the things that I think for next year I'm going to do is use the A5 day free. I cut mine down. In practicing for this, I cut my A5 day free down. So now it's a B6. I can use it. It's not a big deal. But I also have several other A5 journals that are great for work. And I also have these, which are B5s. And then I got to thinking about work stuff. And I did this, because this is from last year. And then this, actually put in a thing, and I was like working out a schedule. So I was, okay, which one do I want to use? Because I've used both as a bit of a bullet journal, as a bit of a studio journal. Neither one of them will fit in a cover. I don't have a cover. I'd have to measure them and have one made specifically. For example, the Stology is 7 1/8 by 10 1/8, and it is approximately half an inch thick. The Odyssey B5 is 7 1/8 by 10 1/4, and it's a little bit over half an inch thick because it has a hard cover. I really want the black cork cover from Brie, or I'd like maybe the Lagoon black, or Lagoon black with Lagoon, like some light colors, or the Lagoon with some colors. Anyway, I want to order cork covers for these two from Brie. But as you can see, the Odyssey is a tiny bit longer. I just haven't ordered them yet, but this is where I'm headed next, is to complete the setup for YouTube and Patreon and my blogs. My blog post, which I've not been on until this morning, and I'm in the middle of writing a blog post. I had started writing a blog post about seasonal planning, and then it's months and months later, and I was like, you know what, never mind now. Maybe I'll redo a post at the end of the year, and we'll talk about seasonal planning whenever I go to start the December. So anyway, or maybe I'll do that for the fall. The B6 Hobonichi is really working well. So I have my A5 Hobonichi, which is our home stuff. And one of the things that I've been doing in it recently is adding different things. I have where we went to the Pirates dinner and show at the beach. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It poured. I mean, we're talking lightning and rain so hard. It was unbelievable. When we went running through the parking lot, the water was 3/4 the way up my shin. So I've also been doing some of the daily oracles in there, and that was interesting and fun. And then I was like, well, this isn't really what I want to do in there. I have a notebook that is specifically for that, and that's here. This is another Odyssey notebook. It has the 68 GSM Tomo River paper in it, and I really like chronicling the tarot in here. Now this has been more of a weekly tarot. I've done a few daily things in it, but mostly it's been for the month or the week. I don't know that I want to put the daily tarot in here. I could very easily put it on the weekly pages. I document some things on for the weekly section with watercolor and stuff like that, but because I'm doing the bulk of regular planning in the B6 Hobonichi, I could technically use this A5, use the weekly part for tarot, for daily tarot or daily oracle, but I'm pulling oracle and tarot cards sometimes, so then that becomes a bit much. So I think I'm going to stick with that Odyssey notebook, which I need a cover for because it's a hard cover and it's getting filthy, and I tried putting it in here. So we're just talking now. We're talking because my ideas about One Book July, they've worked really, really well so far. That B6 changing up and cutting the Hobonichi down was the best thing. Absolutely the best thing. If I can get it to go in here, and I can get it to fold over, but I'm not sure if I put the front cover in here, if it will. So we're going to try it. Will, but it's not happy about it. And the chunkier it gets, the worse that's going to get. That is disappointing. See, now I can't get it out. There we go. Or just leaving it in like this. I can do that. I can leave it in like that because it will close. I thought about putting the front cover in and leaving the back cover out, because the back cover has the pocket, which is one of the things that causes it to be thicker. So we're going to try that. See if that will work. This used to have elastic in the back that would keep it closed, but I took that elastic off. I guess I could replace it. I think that will work better, because then it slides open like that, and I can use the elastic on the journal to keep the pages where I want them, and that will work. I may end up putting some elastic back on here and putting that back cover right there so it stays in there. That's something I could do. Right now I'm just thinking about the things that I could do. So, this I was using as a bullet journal, or commonplace journal, tarot journal, up until May. So I think what I'm going to do, since this is such an issue, I'm going to wait, and I will go back to using this one whenever I get a cover to fit it, because it needs to be an A5 plus cover because of how that cover is hardcover. So I'm just going to go back to this. We're going to get a tag. I'll go back to using this, and that way I can do the monthly and the daily, the weekly, whatever I want to do, and put it in here. I think I'm going to use the weekly pages. Like, this is this week in the Hobonichi. I haven't done anything. I broke down Monday. The alternator went out in my vehicle in the Lowe's parking lot, thankfully, and it had gotten so hot it was shorted out. And if I'd have driven it any further, a friend of ours who is a MacGyver, he fixed it for me. My mother-in-law, I was stranded, so she went and got me an alternator. I called around, and she picked up one, and Thank goodness for roadside assistance, because roadside assistance picked up and towed my car to MacGyver's house, and then he had it fixed in like a couple of hours. And he said there are a couple of different ways that your alternator can short out, and mine shorted out in the way that could have caused major problems. Like, we're talking, it could have, if I'd have kept on driving, it could have caught on fire. It was getting that hot. I'm going to show you a wee bit of some journaling that I did in the A5. I mean, in the B6. And I thought, well, instead of doing that kind of journaling in the B6, because I did it in the B6 because I had done the Tarot and Oracle in the A5. But I was like, well, I've just been playing around back and forth in all the different sizes, playing and having fun. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go back to journaling in the Hobonichi A5. I'm going to go back to having fun with watercolor, and then I will just put the important things on the weekly pages, because I really had fun. Now, the jellyfish turned out the best, I think. The jellyfish definitely turned out the best. But I'm going to go back. I'll watercolor some things because August I am going to be using the Very Hungry Caterpillar for my theme, I think. So I'm going to be doing like a cocoon, caterpillars, trees with leaves, the things that the caterpillar eats, the apples, the pears, and things like that, the blueberries. I'm going to be doing that stuff, and I'm going to have fun with it. I have the anniversary book. I think it's actually in my bedroom right now, because that's where I was sketching some practice sketches for. I'm going to continue to do that because I love watercoloring on the Tomoe River paper. And I really like being able to do this. Like, I just whited out the date and put the storm stuff here because it was thundering and lightning and raining, and I used the whole 2 pages for that day. I have been writing affirmations on the pages. I have some fill-in work to do. I'm going to go back to doing personal journaling in the A5 Hobonichi because this is the whole year, and I've tried a few different things with this, and I have enjoyed pretty much every single thing I've done. I just like some things more than others. The thing that we're going to talk about is my sketch journal. I don't really use it much at all. I dyed this. It's a Malden. I dyed it this beautiful blue color and with acrylic paint, and I love this. And I think the reason I haven't done as much with it as I wanted to is because I don't want it to be finished. There's not very much left in it, and once I finish it, it's done. And I don't have another book by Bree, and right now I can't afford another book by Bree. And I was like, well, you know what? I have mixed media paper. I could make one. I'm not good at that. So not good at that. So I don't know. I might try it. We'll see. If I do, I'll make a video of it and put it on Patreon and maybe do a time-lapse version for y'all. I do have my sketchbooks. That's one of the things. I have all different kinds of sketchbooks and all different kinds of sizes. Where's my little ones? And these are just the regular ones. I even have a B5 sketchbook. I have a huge sketchbook that I have all different kinds of sketchbooks. I've filled up 2 sketchbooks, not sketch journals, sketchbooks. And I think I'm going to do a sketchbook challenge for August. I just need to pick which sketchbook I want to use. This one I started in 2018. Is this one dated? Whenever I got that bag, which is probably 2018 or 2017. I don't know. Victor did a lion in this one when he was really little. Like really little. I did some sketching. I was figuring out how I might do a creative journaling class. This was some watercoloring without any pen, just practicing. This was popcorn. So this is 2020, but that was not when I started the sketchbook. That was practicing. I could look on Amazon and see when. I may end up using this one. When did I start this one? This one was started in 2017. which is the year my dad died. And I think I had started and was going to do it during Inktober. Yes. This was the 3rd of Inktober. And then I started and my dad died on the 5th of October that year. So I went in December and swatched some watercolors a couple months after my dad died. In February the next year, 2018, I did some art snack stuff. And then nothing. So maybe this one. This one I started doing watercolor palettes in. I did a squirrel that was with class, an exercise, some more swatching watercolors. So I think we're going to keep this one as the watercolor swatching, and I'm going to swatch all my watercolor things and put them in here. So I'm going to get a label to put on there. And then this one, oh, this is swatching of watercolors from 2019. Practicing. I've got some watercolor stuff in here. Some more. So this one will be that, because I've already got palettes in here. This was practicing mushrooms. I had fun in Rose class. This was doing a bunch of watercolor and then finding things inside of it. Okay, so we're going to keep these two as watercolor palettes. They actually are the same color. This one is one of those fancy Cotty papers. One of the classes I was taking recommended this. I swatched some watercolors. That's it. That's all I did. Okay, this one I started in 2020. I did quite a bit of sketching in here. I've got a lot of stuff in here. This is the one I finished. How about that? This is the one I finished, y'all. I finished it. Yeah, that was my first attempt at pumpkins, and then I refused to let that stop, so then I did another thing of pumpkins, and that turned out much better. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna end up doing some more pumpkins. And then I did a halo. I was following along with Becky. I can't think of her last name right now. She does sketching pretty much every day. This was a collage thing, and then a part of it was watercolor and part of it was collage. I was sick, and David got me a new Vicks vaporizer and all the stuff. This was a thing that we practiced in Rose Winfrog Sing class. And then I was determined to do another pumpkin because I knew I could get better. So this one is my finished one. Woohoo! Alright, so I have a number 2, a number 3. This one's like halfway through. Doing stuff for Patreon. Hello Spring. Fall stuff. This is the oldest sketchbook. I'm going to take my white pen and I'm going to write, because that one says number 1. Actually, maybe I'll get the acrylic pen. That might work better. Okay. So that one says number 2. This one's going to be number 4. We've got number 2, number 3, and number 4. That one was number 1. I'm determined to finish these. Which one? Okay, we'll stick with the blues. So I've got a sketch journal I need to friggin' finish. Yeah. So this is the very portable one. This is the one I'm going to be doing the everyday stuff in. That was really a hard time when my dad died, but I'm feeling much better about stuff. And so I think it's time. The best time for new beginnings is now. It's now. I started this one June 25th of 2017. So why not go back? We're going to start back on July 26th, 2022. And I need to practice some butterflies, cocoons, caterpillars, and fruit and stuff. And that's what I'm going to do in here. That one may end up being number 5. And I have that real big etcher sketchbook, which is watercolor paper. But I think I'm going to finish this first. And then we'll go back. We'll date it. Now today's the 27th, isn't it? It's the 27th, not the 26th. 27 July. And I'm going to start sketching some things for Patreon for the PDF. I do a PDF about every other week. Every other month, not every other week, about every other month. I did some stuff ahead of time for July, but I think I'm going to do some stuff for August for the caterpillar, very hungry caterpillar, because it's such a variety of things, and butterflies and caterpillars and cocoons and leaves and flowers and berries and fruits and things like that. Those are really good summertime. Like I could do watermelon and blueberries and strawberries and apples and pears, really pretty green leaves, and some summer things, and I could still do other things too. I'm not limited. Yeah, I'm feeling, like I said, I'm feeling really good about the decision that I made, because this is going to be the main sketchbook, and then for doodling and practice, these are the practice sketchbooks. And then my watercolor sketchbooks are the ones where I do more like urban sketching and things like that. And that's what the etcher sketchbook is. The big etcher sketchbook is going to come in handy. And I think that's in my bedroom too, because I was doing some sketching in there. The little one and the big one are the urban sketching, planner sketching, and stuff like that. And the more detailed work. And then this is the practice and fun and doodly stuff. Yeah. So this I did of Swan Lake. I'm trying a lot of different things. Yeah, that was the Art Snacks box. It was 2017. That was another Art Snacks box. I miss having Art Snacks. Another Art Snacks box. I do miss the Art Snacks box, but I can't afford them right now. One day I will be able to. Things are working out really great for me. I'm feeling much, much better about One Book July. In the beginning, I was like not sure what I really wanted to do and how I really felt about things. One of the things I want to talk about really quickly, I have been doing the creativity and gratitude and the 52-week intention journal. And they've really made a big difference. I've been doing them in what I would call like maybe my commonplace journal or whatever. It's something that I do. I don't even know if I call it that. It's like the journal. It's where I do more of my own work stuff, like for me personally, not for social media. One of the things that one of my patrons sent me is this book. Now you can see I've been busy with this book. It got caught in my book bag. This part came off. I have been reading this and working on this, and I have been doing more doodling and more sketching in different places, but I really need to get back to the bare bones of things and get back to my art practice. I've been doing some kind of art every single day since last month, and I haven't skipped, but I've only skipped one day since the very beginning of June, and that was a day when I was just ill, just couldn't. I think I'm going to start the book over, and when I'm going to go from the introduction, and I'm going to read the introduction this week, and then I'm going to start this book as my thing for August. I try to do projects every month, and this month was a lot of different. It was like some smaller projects. Art Daily was one of the projects. I was doing journaling, working on my system, my planning system, and my journaling system. And I haven't completely narrowed down everything with the journaling system, but I have narrowed down everything with the planner system. The planner system, not the plein air system, the planner system. But my creative side, I am doing morning pages again, and I don't need to do Julia Cameron's Artist Way again. I've done it like 3 times. I'm still doing artist dates. I try to do artist dates once a week. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it happens every week and a half or so, but I'm working on that. I'm keeping track, and I'm doing morning pages. Have this out here that I do morning pages in, and I have a composition notebook in the house. So it depends on if I have to take Doug to class right now, so I'm waking up and taking and brushing my teeth, getting dressed, washing my face, and going straight to take him. And then when I come out here, when I don't even have my coffee when I take him. When I come out here, I make my coffee and I sit down and I do this. Now on the weekends, first thing I'm doing morning pages. It works out well enough, but I really do, once Doug gets a vehicle again, we're waiting on the settlement, I will be able to do them earlier. I could get up earlier, and sometimes I do, before I have to take Doug, and I do them, but it's not an everyday thing, so it needs to be better. So that's like what I'm working on. I've been working on those things. Creativity exercises and inspiration for a year of art, hope, and healing, and 52-week intentional journal. I'm still doing those. But these are more my creativity, like journaling and intention and things like that. This other book, this is going to be more about the art, sketch by sketch, y'all. So I will leave the links to these below, and we're going to talk about those some more, because this is more like creativity and self-care, refilling my well. Okay, whereas this is working on my art, which I really need to do. Morning pages is part of that, and so I'm doing the artist way without going through the book and doing the exercises every day, because I've already done that like 3 or 4 times now. So morning pages. I'm also doing the walking daily, which is part of one of her other books in the Artist Way series. I've done the listening path. I've done a lot of different ones by her, and so far my favorite one has been the Artist Way. I get more out of it than any of the rest of them, but I have added things from the other ones to the Artist Way. I think if she'd added the walking and things like that to the Artist Way to begin with, she wouldn't have needed all those other books. But all those other books help, anyway, promote her and stuff. So that's where I'm at. So some of these books go on this top shelf. Well, not this book. These books go on this top shelf along with my almanac book, which has things to start every day. These go right up here. They're part of my daily thing, and this is too, but this is, like I said, sometimes I use the composition book that's in the house, and then sometimes I use this. It's a 6x8, so it's bigger than B6. It's a 6x8, and I'm loving it so far. I have the World Tarot sticker in it, and the other day during this week I picked the World Oracle card, so that was really cool. I have Coffee Makes Me Less Murdery, an index just in case there's something important, and then the pages are filled with my writing. So okay, I think I've covered everything, and I once again, very long-winded. I feel like what I worked on this One Book July was about my systems, and I've been following along with Carrie Harling, and she's been talking about her system, and Miss Vicky B's been talking about some different things, and I've really enjoyed both of their videos. I have been watching some other people's videos. I have really enjoyed them. I know some people think that One Book July is like past its prime, or that One Book July is a gimmick, but honestly, One Book July is really about getting down to the core of things for you, whether it's your planning system, your journaling system, maybe your projects, maybe a project, maybe your studio. It's about taking time during the 1 month to go back to basics with something, whether it's your journal or your planner or your studio or your sketchbooks or whatever you can choose. There's any number of things that you can do, but it's good to take a look at things, I think. And that's what I've really done this time around. Instead of trying to go one book, or instead of trying to do something else, this is what works really well, or this is what's not working. This was a win, this was not. All right, so I'm going to go, because now I'm getting rambly, and that's not what this is about. So, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to go do one more video, and that's where I'm going to show my setup for August based on what worked and didn't work for One Book July. Y'all have a great one, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye, y'all.